Okay, winter day 5. Doctors reduce sugar but don't advocate against it, which is absurd. This is a really tough comment, but basically you're going to look at a continuum of true and false, and uh, and people who can or can't based on that's not what they're doing with their time. They're not aware of the issue or that kind of thing. So first of all, notice the difference in the directive. Notice the difference between the reduction and elimination. Okay, notice reduction. Reduction in sugar, that's really easy. We know doctors reduce sugar. We know that because sugar poses a risk to the heart. There's risk, and so we know to say under 10 or 8% based on research. Okay, so I use the 8% because Harvard uses 8% as well. I did like that. I like keeping it lower than that for sure. So I think 8% is good for me. And okay, so reduce sugar. Get sugar is going to be targeting your organs. Lose that sugar is happening to your organs. Okay. Next is the problem of elimination. Elimination is important to understand because alcohol, cigarettes, and sugar have one thing in common, which is that they have zero marginal benefit. They're irrational. There's no benefit. There's cost. There's social utility, which is a benefit of psychology. People can agree that it's beneficial, but there's zero medical benefit. So elimination of sugar is useful when sugar is taking up too much of the patient's life. Okay, so the patient is experiencing struggles. Notes that the patient cannot. The patient notes that it's impossible to manage those issues. Ongoingly, it's too much time and things like that. At that point, the patient should be looking at reducing the physical impacts on the body, because when patients don't have time or energy and etc., when they cannot cope with those medical functions, like their medical functionality, I can't function, I can't work, I cannot do this thing, that kind of thing. Start to reduce the irrational things right away. Alcohol, smoking, sugar. Anything that's taking up the patient's effort should be reduced. Look, you're not going to manage this. I can give you something and that'll help. But ultimately, it was something like you're not coping, you're not managing yourself. You should be looking at strategies for medical care that would result in not having to spend more time on care, that would result in not having to do things that will waste your effort. So any effort you put toward reducing sugar is a benefit, but effort that you put toward going for more care is not really going to be beneficial, except you can go for your appointments and such. So overall, eliminations should be introduced as a strategy for self-management. If you're not coping, start to eliminate. You went to the bar, you didn't have a good time, don't go to the bar. This should be functionality. When I go to the bar, I can do what I want to do. I can function. If you're no longer functioning, when I go to eat, but I'm not really feeling right, and I was like, stop the meaningfulness and the relevancy about self-management. Just be like, that sugar, it's taking up your body's attention. And you're not getting more out of it. Elimination. Okay. And for every argument, there's 1,000 counter. You can counter any argument really easily, analytically. Just because you said so. But basically, you need to look at a reduction and elimination on a scale, because reducing is important to health. Okay. If you have a patient that doesn't know how to self-manage and just something reduces all the sugar, well, that is healthy. The patient doesn't necessarily know what's happening, and so the patient could make mistakes. Could process information wrong. The patient needs time to study, to learn. It's not intuitive. Questions: do you feel all right? Do you feel better? That kind of thing. So, all right. I hope that helps. Those are some ways to think about the topic or the issue. You can prove or disprove anything, and I'm going to say that because someone's going to be like, I'm a doctor, it's not absurd, right? And then I'm going to be like, well, yeah, but I needed doctors to advocate against it, and for that reason, my incentive is that it's absurd. Okay, so that's just, because I said so, because you said so, it's kind of the same argument. Next is, I don't have time to advocate against it. Well, I also don't have time to advocate against it soon. I'm going to stop completely, and then I'm going to support it. I'm going to say, you can have all the sugar you want to. because I'm not going to be involved in patient care. I'm not going to be involved in medical industry. I'm going to be working. Okay, and I'm not interfering with what people are going to be eating. So, I can be like, if you want it, it's there for you. I'll take my turn and order the food. What do you want? Somebody wants to eat your sugar, but they want to feel good about it. So I could be like, why don't you try adding this, and now you can enjoy it more, for example. Okay. So the limits advocacy. With that in mind, I'm going to bring this conversation to a close with the idea that I agree that avocation is absolutely necessary from a medical perspective, just because I need patient care not to include sugar for me personally. I need patient care not to result in loss of self-management or self-control, so people can take what they want, but I need people to be aware that sugar is not necessary for the body in any way. I don't trust that I don't trust that people do the following things. I trust that people will make mistakes with personal care and the care of others, as if sugar is good for them, and that's why I'm like, stay away from my food. Okay, but as long as you're doing what's right for you and you're not interfering with mine, it was something like, quid pro quo. Okay, so notice the difference between reduction and elimination. Sugar is not rational. So, therefore I call it absurd. Okay, I call sugar absurd innately, like alcohol and cigarettes. If I want to smoke and drink and have some sugar, I'm being absurd today. Okay, and I'll be like, yeah, let's get absurd. Let's get absurd. Let's go have some cake. Okay, but I don't want any cake now. So no, I'm not planning any absurd moments right now. So, next is advocacy. Last is advocacy. Okay, I'm ending this on advocacy. I will be an advocate against the absurd if you can't afford the irrational moment. So I cannot be absurd with you because I don't like being absurd with you. It's okay. I don't want to do that. So I'll say no. That would be like, I'm walking out of my office, outside of the office building, and somebody approaches me, like, let's go party. I'm like, no. Let's go have a drink. No. I don't want to drink after work. Like that. Let's go have something. Let's go get some candy. We'll need candy. No, we don't. I don't need candy. You want free candy? No, I don't want free candy. Okay. Why candy? Well, sometimes people want to go and eat a snack at McDonald's. Give me McDonald's for free. I'm going to give you money to do things that are not going to help you? Like that. Okay, I gave a few burgers McDonald's. But I'm not that good about it. I'm thinking that I'm kind of mean. I should have been like, no, you should eat it. You see a beggar drinking Coca-Cola and you're like, their lives are over. I hope they figure it out. Says, well, never mind. Okay, now this ending of the conversation is starting to take a while. I hope you've enjoyed this film. I agree with advocacy against sugar. Okay? I agree with advocacy against the absurd. It's absurd not to advocate against it. I'll be absurd with you sometimes, maybe not. Okay? Thank you very much and have a good day. The only things that I regret in life is wasting money on sugar, as if I cared. I can honestly say that's what I mean. I don't really care, but I have personal declaration saying somebody wants sugar, and I have some sort of whim because I got free candy when I was a kid. I got free candy from tons of people because they're like, we feed kids candy because candy is good for kids. Okay, so I ate tons of candy, tons of cake, tons of chocolates, and for that reason I still give beggars bad food, like McDonald's. Thank you very much and have a good day.